Hi everyone. I am so excited coming to the room. I am so excited because as you know, March is Women's History Month and I am here today with 9 phenomenal women. I am here with 9 phenomenal women who is doing stuff in the community, who is ready to share their journey and just empower you guys on tonight. So, for those who don't know me, thank you so much for tuning in. I am Nicki D, the poet. I'm nothing but a former shy girl who found her voice through poetry and now uses poetry to help others find their voice. So, basically, what I had to do is I use my childhood experiences, I use my faith-based interactions, and I use my struggles and trials as a single mom to help bring a message of hope, peace, and self-love through my poetry. So what I'm going to do just to kick off this women empowerment event is to do a piece of poetry for you guys. And this is called Beautifully Flawed. She was told to sit up, legs closed, to only speak when she was spoken to. And even then, she was given a list of phrases and sayings and what she needed to use. Poor little girl, always so confused, always stuck in the middle, trying to fill someone else's shoes. But she was never told that she was pretty because she was 2 shades too black. She was never told that she was pretty because she was 2 sizes too fat. She was never told that she was pretty because, truth be told, she was a little not needed and resembled a duck when she walked. She was never told that she was pretty because she had a list that got in her way when she talked. Poor little girl. All she wanted to do was fit in. She expected adversity from the outside, but she thought that surely she could find some commodity with those of the same skin. But she was too holy for the sinners, yet not holy enough for the saints. She wanted to wish for death, but she was taught not to tempt fate so alone. Struggling to find her place, she stares at her image, marking figments of her imagination of what it's truly like to be beautiful. Muffin top, last the waist band she stands. Gripping the gut she tucks inside her girdle for gym class. Jumping rope was always a challenge. 1, 2, 3. Her steers Mr. Sweat making waves on her skin. She considered herself a lesbian, dating little Debbie's and Betty Crockers, finding confident and creamy intrinsic reality that different from hers, where one tried to semblance of freedoms from the next few strands, systematically playing the fiddle, the pipe that the paper was strung. She became a puppet. Trapped in the vice of aesthetics, caught in the rim of appeal, wanting to pluck, cut, and tuck anything to feel like those girls on the magazines. You know, the ones with the triple-digit likes on IG that has been filtered, cropped, and photoshopped, so even they are not as beautiful as they seem. You see, this unrealistic standard of beauty has to stop. After all, beauty is far more than skin deep. And we were all handcrafted and beautifully designed by God, who stamped everything is beautifully, wonderfully made. So me, illuminating my beauty, will never cause yours to fade. More of the story, we all have some beauty. It just takes some of us longer to find it. But the next time you find yourself in the mirror magnifying your flaws, remember, that's the way the Almighty God designed it. And I chose to start off this event with that piece because I know being a woman in America, being a Black woman in America, so far too often we get told what we should do, how we should wear our hair, how we should dress, even down to how we should talk, the company that we should keep. And the unrealistic standard of beauty, this unrealistic standard of success, sometimes growing up can really weigh you down. And I talk about this a lot in my book that is actually dropping next month, called Crown. I talk a lot about how sometimes we have to abandon everything we know in order to find our crown, in order to find our purpose. We have to quiet the noise. So I thought it was very, very, very important to start off with this event about this. And now I'm actually about to play a little preview to the book. If I can get this. 1 second. So that was a little preview to the book. My book is available right now for pre-order. So feel free to head, when you're done watching this, of course, head over to nickidthepoet.org and secure your pre-order copy, and the links and everything in regards to the official book signing will be dropping very, very soon. Now, without further ado, let me introduce our first historian on tonight, because these ladies that I'm bringing up right now, they are ladies that are going to be, that are a part of history right now. Like, they're making history right now. And if you don't know them, that's why I brought them, and that's why they're on the panel right now, because you need to get to know these people. Without further ado, our first panelist, our first historian is none other than Tori Livee. Tori Livee is a proud Newark, New Jersey native. She's an inspirational blogger. She has this great vlog, The Deli Nugget, and you guys really, really need to check her out. She did a dope interview this morning, and she has so much stuff that is coming down the pipe. I'm gonna bring her to the screen so she can tell you about all the amazing stuff she has going on, and then drop a deli nugget right here for us.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. I'm absolutely excited to be on your platform. I appreciate you so much. A little bit about me. That's always the hard part. So, a little bit about me. Like you said, I'm a Newark, New Jersey native, proud of where I come from, proud of who I am. And I'm just trying to make my mark personally and make my mark so that the next young woman coming up after me will have somebody to look up to. I do this for a younger version of myself to be proud and know that she can make it too, no matter what obstacles come her way. So, yeah.
Yes. Well, without further ado, I'm gonna give you the stage and let you drop your deli nugget, let you drop your inspirational.
All right, y'all. So I like to really be obedient to time limits. So I set my timer right here. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes, what we're here to talk about. Y'all, have you ever been sick? This is a very rhetorical question because obviously we've all been sick. We've all caught a cold, a sinus infection, something, whatever. But if you caught the common cold, right, then you know that sometimes your throat gets very hoarse. I'm very, very big on tea, right? So you're drinking all the tea, you're drinking, the honey, the lemon, all that stuff. And your throat is just getting worse and worse and worse. And eventually, if the cold is bad enough, or if you leave it untended long enough, you lose your voice. Yeah, you lose your voice and you're out here sounding hoarse and barely able to speak and you're just looking crazy. Your voice is gone, right? However, we don't stay sick forever. And no matter how bad it is, right? Eventually, no matter how long it is, eventually we come out of our cold and our voice comes back. So I want to talk right there from that speaking point, right there. See, sometimes when we get sick and we lose that voice, right, we think it's the end of the world, but it comes back. Your voice is always there, even in times that it's dormant, even in times where you don't know how to use it, times where it hurts to use it. It's always there. And it's that driving force behind you that is pushing you to keep going, even though you want to break down on the side of the road. I myself have had a lot of days where I wanted to give up, especially coming from a young Black woman, especially coming from a young Black woman from Newark, especially coming from a young Black woman from Newark whose parents did not want her, pretty much. Having to overcome obstacles of failed relationships, having to overcome not finishing school at the time that, I should have. It's just so many odds stacked against me. So I'm thinking, like, man, what voice? Like, why should I speak? What qualifies me to speak? Why should I even talk? There's older people in the room who know more than me. There's more qualified people in the room who know more than me. There's people with bigger and more powerful platforms who have more and they know more than me. Why should I even bother? Like, the odds are already stacked against me. Like, why even do this? because you matter. God believe, right? I believe, right? That God put all of us here for a purpose. Nobody is an accident. Nobody is a mishap or a misstep. If you're here living and breathing right now, it's for a purpose. And even when we get lost in our purpose, because sometimes God works a little funny, He doesn't let us know what the mission is, but we're still supposed to complete it. It's very confusing. But we have a purpose. Like, bottom line, you have a purpose, and your purpose is even bigger than you. So in times when you want to like shut up and not do anything, not say anything, like I just came off of a hiatus, and it really wasn't because I didn't feel like doing anything, but I was just trying to get life together. But you always got to come back around. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you take breaks, don't forget, you got to get back on that horse and ride. It's okay to take a break. It's okay, because even like on a long drive, from Georgia to Jersey, you got to take a break. You got to take a pit stop. You got to go eat. You got to take a break. So I'm not saying don't break, right? But don't get stuck in your break, and don't feel like you should just stop and give up. No, never give up. Always continue. No matter how long your pause is, and especially for those women who, you wanted to finish school, but you just like life happened and kids happened, life just took you in a different direction. Like, it's never too late for that. Or for the woman who wants to start a business, or for the woman who has started a business and it went down the drain, but you want to start again. It is not too late. It is never too late to get back up and start going again. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the power of your own voice. And there's going to be a lot of times when you don't believe in the power of your own voice, or it's hard to believe in the power of your own voice. But in those moments, I dare you to dig a little bit deeper, just a little bit deeper. Because once you wipe those tears away, you find that, it's going to sound real cliche, but like there's really like that silver lining beyond the clouds. You just have to look hard enough. And sometimes our tears blur up our eyes and we can't really see that well. And like, I wear glasses. I'm supposed to wear glasses, even I don't. But sometimes we just need our prescription adjusted, you know. But I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be enlightened. I want you to know that no matter what's happening in your life, or how bad it's been, or how long you've been in that bad situation, that bad point, that bad relationship, it's gonna be better. It's gonna be okay. It's okay. And even more so than that, it's okay to not be okay. But the thing with that is that now that we've acknowledged that we're not okay, what do we do to get right? Because you got to get back up. You got to keep going. I think that the biggest thing about life is it's a continued journey. It's a continued fight. And if you fall off, it's not acceptable to stay down. Life is going to continue to go on whether you get back in the race or not. So you might as well go. And I think I'm below my time, but I'm actually done. You got to speak what you're supposed to speak, and let that be that. That is all that I have to bring to you guys today. And I feel like I just hope that somebody was encouraged and inspired by that, to not lose your voice. We get sick sometimes, we lose that voice, but never forget that it's still there.
Listen, you said a mouthful. Like, just about like what you said about thinking that you didn't have a voice. Like, because I know for me, I brand myself as the former shy girl, because for a long time I was always writing poetry because that was my outlet, but I never had like that courage to get out there and share my poetry, because I thought, like, who really cared what I had to say? And to me, like, coming from a family that's full of musicians and singers, I'm like, well, here am I can't sing a lick. My family will tell you that. I tried to play the guitar, but then when my dad said you couldn't get nails, I was over that. So I'm like, here I am. I'm just a poet. And even that phrase, like, just a poet, I'm like, no, I'm more like, it's so poetry is so much in and of itself. And then I'm learning poet we always just use it to identify us as a title. But I'm like, no, poet is actually a verb. What do you
Yeah.
do? I poet. Like, so you just saying that, and I really want people to really take in what you're saying. Like, everybody who's coming up here, they're gonna I handpicked them to be on this panel because I know they're gonna bring something inspirational to you. So yes, you can. Tori is doing great things, but I know if she's like myself, she's not just doing it to be seen. She's not doing it to lift her name up. She's doing it to touch someone. So I really want people to really hand in on this message. And can you tell us, just before you go, a little bit about your Deli Nugget and how we can tune into the Deli Nugget and how we can support you?
Okay, so the Daily Nugget is what I call my passion project. It's been on Facebook, a live stream through Facebook for the last like 4.5 years. But this year, right here, I decided to do something a little new. I've been afraid to tap into that, not Facebook, that YouTube market. But this year, I decided we're gonna go ahead and function in this to reach a broader audience. So I've moved the Daily Nugget from my personal page on Facebook over to YouTube. You guys can go ahead and follow all things Daily Nugget on my YouTube channel, Tori Live Presents. And I'm also on Instagram, the Tori Live, the with 2 E's, Tori Live. And, I'm friendly, be my friend on Facebook. Tori A. Manning is that's my personal page. And Tori Live is my artist page. And yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Please drop the link to your YouTube channel in the live stream. That way everybody can have it. Thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Wow. She was awesome. She was awesome. She was amazing. And just the whole thing about purpose, the whole thing about finding your voice, and the whole thing about still going on in your voice. Amazing. It's amazing. So with that being said, I do have this poem called Enough, and I'm just going to do a little snippet of Enough while our next historian gets ready. This is for the girl who's never been kissed, who stay awake at night, tortured with the thought of whether or not she would be asked to the high school dance. She thinks maybe if I lift up my skirt, bending over and show everybody I can twerk, I can finally get a chance. Well, at least I'll probably find a man. And that right there will give me purpose. But I've been single for a minute. What's wrong with me? I'm too bored, too flawed, too ugly. Why can't I fill in? I just try, but I stick out like a sore thumb. Maybe it's time to end it all. After all, I'm the girl who's easy to forget. Her mother sees her crying. Her mother go up to her and say, baby girl, why do you walk around with a permanent frown? You walk around with your eyes glued to the ground as if you have nothing left to give. Do me a favor. Put your hand on your chest. You feel that? That's a breath. That means you still have purpose. Baby girl, don't you know that you're a queen? Price far above any ruby, above any dime. You were put on this earth for a greater purpose. Not just a trophy to appease man's eyes, but inside you, there's a voice that the whole world needs to hear. And just in case you haven't heard it in a while, let Nicki D tell you again, you are enough. Anybody who's watching, anybody who's about to catch this replay, even if it's like a year from now and you're watching this on YouTube, you're still enough. You're enough now. You was enough the day you was born. I believe that when we were born, when I was conceived in my mother's womb, there was a calling that was placed on my life. And so many times we go through stuff in life or with certain situations, we're dealt bad hands, and we feel as though that because we did this, that disqualifies us from our calling. But there's nothing you can do that will ever disqualify you from the calling that's placed on your life. And guess what? My audience, Tori can't take my audience. Nettie can't take my audience. Octavia can't take my audience because the audience needs Nicki D message. So even if it's another person in your lane, they can't tell your story like you. And that's it. Let me stop because I really can get up here all day and talk. So let me bring up our next historian, Octavia Bradley. Now, she is a phenomenal woman out here making history. She is a wife. First and foremost, she is a woman of God. She's a wife, a CEO, an educator, an inspirational speaker. She is the chief executive of the Take Back magazine. She continues to pursue. She is pursuing her studies in trauma and mental health. She's doing great things to raise awareness for the foster care as well as domestic abuse victims and survivors. So without further ado, I introduce to you Octavia Bradley.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, Nikki. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You're looking beautiful as ever. Thank you for having me on your
Likewise,
platform.
sis.
I am honored. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, and then you can go into your story.
Okay, no problem. You will probably hear my children in the background, so I'm gonna apologize right now in advance. So Nikki said, she said a mouthful about me already. However, what I will add to all of the roles that I have at this time, I will also add that I am a mother of 5 children. I have an 18-year-old. He just turned 18. I have a 17-year-old. I have an 8-year-old. I have a 5-year-old, and I have a 3-year-old. So with all of those titles, I am still a full-time mom and busy being this full-time mom. And I'm also a wife. I'm not sure if Nikki mentioned that, but I am also a wife to a very supportive husband who I love very, very much. So about me, what haven't I been through? I am an author of a book called Leaked: Spilling Secrets of Trauma, which is an autobiography of my life. I have written a second book called Revealed to Heal: Working from the Inside Out, and it's a self-help book for yourself to begin your journey. It's not to get you through everything, but it's to begin your journey of healing. And so I'm pretty proud of that book. You can catch both of those books on Amazon, or you can inbox me. I wrote my first book from the statement, "What happens in this house stays in this house." And if any of you are like my family, and it doesn't matter what culture or race you are in, you may not have heard that statement exactly, or those words exactly, but it always triples down to the same thing. Don't go and spread the business, or don't go and tell what's happening in your household. And so with myself, I held on to that statement for so many years, into my 30s. And I was loyal to that statement because what happens in this house was supposed to stay in this house. You're not supposed to say anything, and you're just supposed to ride it out. And so for me, I wrote it out for over 30 years. And I realized there was a breaking point in my life where I realized that, you know what? All of the trauma that I've been through, when we speak about sexual abuse, when we speak about sexual assault, when we speak about verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse, when you speak about all of those things, I was a part of all of that, and I held it in. And because I held it in for so long, I really couldn't differentiate what was me, what was my fault, what should I do? And so once I hit this breaking point in my life, and that breaking point was actually God speaking to me, telling me to write, not understanding what my purpose was, not understanding, what I was hearing, didn't want to tell anybody about what it was that I heard. And you start telling people God is speaking to you, people gonna look at you strange, like, what the hell she mean God's speaking to her? So I've never told anybody, not even my husband. And so it wasn't until I ended up going to my sister-in-law's church one night, and her bishop prophesied over me. And even learning about prophets and understanding what prophets are and what they do, quote unquote, I still didn't believe in all that. Like, I knew I believed in God, but all that extra stuff, I was like, I'm not be like that. That's not true. And so I for whatever reason that I say for whatever reason, but I know it was the Holy Spirit pushing me to allow this bishop to prophesy over me. And when this bishop prophesied over me, the first thing out of his mouth was, Yahweh told you to write. What are you waiting for? And I kid you not, just like you would see on television when a pastor or preacher lay their hands on someone and they start speaking and the person fall out, I completely fell out. And I was crying, and everything else this bishop was saying, I didn't even hear it because I was just so engulfed that like I really heard from God. Like I really heard. And I went home that night and I began writing my story. And I didn't know I was going to write my story, but I began writing my story. When I look back on it, it was my life. It was my story. And I finished my book in 3 months, being able to write it. And so when people ask, like, what prompted you? That's what prompted me. But I realized that my journey was for a bigger purpose. Like I have a bigger mission in life. I realized that God has created me to be the woman that I am for the women that are coming up now, for the women that were in my shoes back then, and for the women that were going through that abuse, for the women that were getting raped, for the women that were getting beat down, for the women that are homeless. Like I am the woman that I needed back then. And so now I'm that woman for the women of today. And I'm so thankful for my journey. When people ask, do you have any regrets, or is it something that you would have changed? I wouldn't have changed anything, no matter how painful it was for me to go through it, because God chose me for the mission and he has equipped me to be able to serve his people. And so within our organization is called Revealed to Heal Consulting Services. It's a for-profit and we have a nonprofit. And so within our organization, the whole organization's mission is to break generational cycles of abuse, to break trauma. And if you know anything about trauma, and it doesn't have to be something that's so dramatic, is whatever is a pained experience for you. When you go through those different things and you hold on to it and you don't talk about it, you end up repeating the same thing. No matter if you want to or not, you end up repeating it because you begin to repeat what was learned, and you begin to repeat unlearned behavior. And so now all of these things are now attached to your mind, to your body, to your heart, to your spirit. And here you go dishing it out the same way. So with me, with my first older 2 children, I used to curse, beat the hell out of them. This is what I did. And so I only did what I was taught, but in my head, and I'm thinking, like, I'm not being abusive to my children because this is what was happening to me. I'm not being abusive. I'm just trying to bring them up in the right way and show them the right thing. But hell no, I was being abusive to them. And it wasn't until I understood what abuse really meant that I needed to begin to break those chains. So when my older 2 children, they look at me and they say, like, Mom, you soft on our younger brothers and sisters because you don't do the same things that you did to us. And I thank God. And so I apologize to them for being that way. But I am thankful that they see that I'm not the same person that I was, and I'm not passing down that same thing. So that means I'm doing something right. That means chains are now broken in my household. That means that my now generation of my children will go on to pass down positivity and not pass down the negativity that was attached to me growing up, and that I repeated earlier on, but began to understand what's the difference, began to understand that this is not right, began to understand that we must break that cycle of abuse. And in breaking that cycle of abuse, one of our biggest tasks right now is working with youth aging out of foster care. Like working with youth aging out of the foster care system. People don't understand how youth that are in the foster care system, once they leave, many times, 9 times out of 10, they have nothing. They have nothing and they have no one. And so they end up homeless. They end up, again, repeating those same cycles of abuse to their own children. Now their children are in the system. They end up being addicted to drugs. They end up not taking care of their mental health. And so our goal is to purchase a transitional home called the Rise and Hope House. And so that way we are able to bring, not only are we able to bring essential services such as counseling, anger management, parenting, life skills, career building, and mentorship, but we are now going to be able to provide housing to those youth. Because a lot of times if you don't have stable housing, you can forget about all those other services. You're not beat to hear about it. And so our whole mission is to be able to serve our community, to be able to serve the families and individuals that are in that community and that are going through those same struggles that we have been through in our past, to be able to help them break those chains early on and educate them, equip them, and empower them, right? Along with impacting their lives, for them to be greater than who they are now and be greater than who they were, and for their children to be greater. And so when we think about what are we pouring out, when we think about what we're pouring out into our community, we're pouring out those resources. We're pouring out the those lessons that we've learned. We're here for you, literally here for you, but you have to take the first step. You have to take the first step into your life and understand that you do have a voice. Like my sister Tori was saying, you have a voice. And so allow your voice to be heard, because if you don't allow your voice to be heard, if you can't stand up and advocate for you, if you can't get with someone that can help you advocate for yourself, then you will stand in the same boat of our ancestors, not saying anything and going on for years until you're now in your late 40s and early 50s, and then now you want to figure it out. No, figure it out while you're in your teenage years. Figure it out while you're in your young adult years. Figure it out. It's never too late to figure it out, but it's always better to figure it out early. So I thank you, Nicole, for just allowing me to be able to share this platform, the platform with you. I thank you for having this Herstory moment, because we need it as women. We need to stick together. We need to pull together. We need to support one another. And like you said, I can't take your audience. You can't take my audience, but let's share audiences, right? Let's share that circle. Let's share that crowd. Let's share that crown. And this is what we need to do. And we need to make sure that we're always bigging up one another, because if we don't do it for ourselves, who's going to do it for us?
Yes. And you said a mouthful. Like I'm over here like trying to gather myself together, because like I'm a host, so I can't just be running away to be in my feelings. But what you said, oh my God, about like once you experience trauma, you see other things as trauma, even though they're not, because your mind is already conditioned. And my God, that in itself is like a mouthful, because Lord, that has been like this 2020 and like the beginning of this year has been all that, like me really a lot of Bree Nix has this amazing undoing journey. If you don't know who Bree Nix is, I'm gonna need you to go follow her and get her books, because the way she break down this whole movement and this whole concept, like once you go through something, is this undoing you have to go through. You have to go through this undoing in order to forgive yourself, because your mind is still stuck on your mistake. Like my mind was still stuck on a traumatic, my past relationship which was abusive, mentally and physically, to the point where I felt as though I was nothing. So as I'm entering in this relationship that I am now, which is a great relationship, which is a healthy relationship, I feel myself having to really undo some of the ways that I was thinking and some of the patterns that I was having. I was treating him like he was the ex that was doing all this other stuff, when in reality he's not. And in like certain areas, like my job, I was going in my job, stepping on toes, like I was the old Nicki. When they see me as the new Nicki, they see me as this person that's been growing, that's in this person of leadership, but I'm still walking around like I'm just this regular old Nicki, just here trying to prove myself. And they like, you already proved yourself. This is why we're giving you this position. And they like, we want to put you here. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. So that whole thing, and you talked about being a generational curse breakers, because we have so many trigger words in society today, and we all talk about something. We want to heal, we want to go in self-love, we're a curse breaker, but we're not really putting into actions to really be that what we say that we want to be. It's cute. We think it's cute for a hashtag, but when I went on my self-love journey, I thought this joint was gonna be nice. I thought it was going to be cool. I didn't know that I was going to be in my room crying, fighting these demons. Like, no, they didn't reveal that to me on social media. They didn't reveal the ugly. So I just thank you for your authenticity. I thank you for your whole journey. And please, like, her story is so amazing. And please let us know how we can support you.
Awesome. And I thank you for that, Nikki. One thing that I wanted to mention, Reveal to Heal, it stands for, and everything has a meaning. so many things I do have a meaning, right? But Reveal to Heal stands for recognize and release each vicious episode attacking life to help every aspiration live. And we can do nothing without that. Like, we could do nothing without recognizing where we came from. We could do nothing without not only recognizing it, but releasing it. And a lot of times you'll hear me talk in threes. Like, so you'll hear me talk about past, present, future. Like, everything is in threes for me. And it has become a habit, and it has become a condition, because when I think about threes, is God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? Oh, Father God. So listen, everything is in threes, but you got to be able to recognize and release it, right? So you have to recognize it and release it. And just because you release it does not mean that you're over it, does not mean that you're healed from it, but it does mean that you're giving your time, you're giving yourself another chance at life. You're giving yourself another chance to do the things that you need to do, and you're not holding yourself as a victim. Right. And so, Nikki, when you're talking about, you were treating your boyfriend the way that you were treating him, you're treating your boyfriend like he was an old boyfriend. Listen, we go through that. We go through that because we don't know, like, when we see somebody being so nice to us, subconsciously, our brain and our body cannot hold it. Our brain and our body don't know how to accept it. Like, in the beginning, we think that that's supposed to happen, but we don't think that it's supposed to go on. So we begin to now self-sabotage things and mess things up, because we're like, okay, when the real you gonna show up? And they've been showing you the real them all this time. So we just have to make sure we're recognizing that, listen, this person is not that person, and I'm going to release the crap that this person has put me through, but I'm going to work on working through it and overcoming the pain that the person has put me through. So I definitely thank you for having me here. You guys can catch my books again. You can catch them on Amazon. It's called Leaked: Spilling Secrets of Trauma. And the other one is Revealed to Heal: Working from the Inside Out. If you guys would like to donate towards our Rising Hope House for youth aging out of foster care, please, you can go to my website, Revealed to Heal Consulting Services. You can also go to our Facebook page. It's Reveal 2 Heal, or Reveal TO Heal Consulting, and or follow me at Octavia B Speaks on Facebook. You can follow me at Octavia B Speaks 2 with the number 2 on Instagram. Like, we're always doing something. We are always in need of donations. If any one of you are doing anything in your community that you're making a difference, I don't care if you're doing hair, I don't care if you're doing nails, I don't care if you are the mayor. Listen, you're doing something that's making a difference in the community. Come and be featured in the Take Back magazine. We have a magazine. Nikki is featured in that magazine. She's going to be featured in April in that magazine. We have Nettie Long, who's featured this month for Women's Month in that magazine. Listen, you can be featured in the magazine as long as you're making a difference in your community. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, but you're making a difference. All proceeds that comes for the magazine. So to be featured, there is a fee, but all proceeds that go to the magazine, listen, it goes towards the Rising Hope House for the youth aging out of foster care. You can even become a subscriber of the magazine as well. Follow me, you'll get all of that information. But Nikki, thank you again for having me on your platform. I love you, sis. You're doing great things.
Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yes, thank you.
That was awesome. That was phenomenal. She said a mouthful. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this replay when I'm not hosting to really take in everything that she was saying. Our next historian. This woman is so amazing. She is so dope. I remember my first time hearing her at Voices in Power. Shout out to Voices in Power. If you don't know what Voices in Power is, especially if you're in Philadelphia, I'm gonna need you to get your life together, first of all. Then second of all, I'm gonna need you to go ahead to Instagram and YouTube and check out the dope movement of Voices in Power. Shout out to Lewis. Shout out to Ambition for taking me to my first Voices in Power, because I was searching and wanting to get into the poetry scene, looking for open mics, and he took me to my first open mic, which was Voices in Power, and that was home ever since. So without further ado, let me introduce our next historian, Sanovia. She is just amazing. I love her so much. She is a resident creative instigator, a sparker. Her energy is so dope. Like, you're gonna see. She started this wonderful movement therapy on Tuesdays. She is just let me bring her to the stage. Hi.
Oh, you can hear me. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am well. I am phenomenal.
Yes, I'm sitting in the car. This isn't my normal situation, but I of course I'm always doing things. So I'm hosting somebody's business shower right now, which I have on her shirt.
Wow.
I'm a resource. Yeah, so I don't know if you ever heard of a business shower, but I think it's just a really dope way to bring in your business because your business is like a baby, right?
Yes.
So I am a host because of my energy, right? Because of those type of things. So I'm doing that. So I told her, I was like, okay, between like 4:45 to like 5 o'clock, I have to like jump out and be here. I appreciate you for having me. Hi y'all. Hey. So, hey. That's what I got for the introduction for now.
Well, I'm so happy that you can join us. I'm gonna get off the stage and let you do your thing.
Yes, thank you. Hey y'all. So yes, I'm just gonna jump in and just tell you a bit about myself, a bit about my story, my herstory. Happy Women's Month. We deserve to be celebrated in so many ways. And I do apologize if the lighting is a little. I'm trying to fight the sun. I'm trying to fight the setting of the sun right now. So we may have a little discoloration. But I'm so sorry I've missed the people that have come before me so far, but I'm gonna try to like check in with some of the people that are coming in after so I can see everything that's happening. But I am Sanovia, and I consider myself a creative or a resident instigator, sparker, and an energizer of all things joy and all things authenticity. I am a singer songwriter. I am a poet. I am so many things. It's sometimes I'm a creative coach and consultant. I really call myself an idea and joy coach. And I always say that I speak too fast. I speak so fast because I have so much to say, and I feel like I don't have enough time to say it. So sometimes you have to like excuse me because I'm like, yo, I'm going 1,000 miles per hour, and it's the thing. So there we go. So anyway, just to tell you a bit about my story, and I was trying to figure out what to share in this space. And I was just like, where do you start? With your herstory, where do you start with? Where you are as a person, how you came to this space. And I had to go back to, I honestly just want to honor my grandmother before I even get into anything about me. So to give a little bit of my background, I grew up, and I always get so emotional, like thinking about it, talking about it. But I grew up in a home that wasn't the safest. So most people that meet me now, they would never think like my story is my story, right? So I grew up in a home, there was drugs, there was pretty much, to make it short, I pretty much lived almost in a trap house, if we want to really describe it that way. I wasn't in safe quarters, and so I'm from Indiana. So I was living in the capital, Indianapolis, Indiana, and I don't want to call anybody's names out or anything like that, but I wasn't in a safe space. There were times we were left home by ourselves. There was times, there was a time I got a gun pulled out on myself and my younger two sisters. I have 7 siblings, but my mom has 5 kids. So me and 2 of my younger sisters, I remember putting my hands around them while we stood at the top of the stairs while this burglar came in and literally pulled out a gun and pointed it, but did not, and I just thank God for that because I wouldn't be here today. But basically what happened, long story short, I remember it was September 11th, 2001. So it's such a poignant date because that was also the day the trade towers fell. And I ended up moving in with my grandmother at the time. And I think grandmothers who raise one generation of children and then also end up raising another generation of children are another kind of magical or another kind of wonderful or another kind of like, I can't see y'all. I don't know what's happening, but I know you can snap with me. You can clap with me. You can be like, yes, sis. It's another type of magic for you to be able to take the kids that you just raised and then take the next generation of the kids that you shouldn't have to raise. You should be able to just experience and say, I'm going to help you out too. And for me, that was such a life-changing time for me. Thank God for you, your role, your mission. Yes, that was such a changing time for me, a transitioning time for me, because I think without my grandmother being here, I would not be this bundle of joy. I would not have gotten the fear of the Lord inside of me. I wouldn't have been in church as much. I wouldn't have been able to do these things. So I want us to also, like, if there's somebody in your life, a grandmother, an aunt, a sister, a mother, that you feel like you have not honored in the way that you should honor. Like, one of my goals actually is to retire my grandmother. I want to retire her. Like, that's one of my goals. I feel like all the gifts I have, all the talents I have, all the dreams, all the energy that I have, and all the ideas should be creating a pathway for me to be able to create the income, to create the reality that I see behind my eyes when I'm sleeping. I'm also a poet too. That's just a random. I was just thinking about a poem, like I could write a poem, like behind my eyes, the things I see. Anyway, so I just want to honor. I'm sorry, I'm yelling because I feel like, again, I'm just a person that's like, I'm very passionate. I'm very focused on really wanting people to get to the space. Our story sounds so similar. We have to connect then. I'm really passionate about people getting to the space that they really. One of my past sayings used to be who you want to see shine in the world. So I have a business. My business is called Pack Light. And my brand, I don't have a t-shirt in here because I have it in the building I was just in, but my brand is You Have Everything You Need. And I sell these t-shirts, and it's co-signed. What I say is by the right person. It's co-signed by God, because I'm like, God has already placed so many things, and y'all didn't ask me to come in here and preach, and that's not what I'm doing. But God has already placed so many things inside of you to where all you have to do is start to believe. Now, some things that I've been doing as I've been walking through my journey as a creative, as a singer-songwriter, I finally released my first album in 2020. January 26, 2020 was also the day that Kobe passed away. So I'll always remember the date, literally. But I did that afraid, right? So some things you have to do afraid. I did that afraid. People have been waiting for me to release an album for forever. Music was always the thing that got me into a space. Writing was always the way that I started to heal myself. So as a kid, when I was going through all those experiences, and then I was growing up with my grandmother, some people don't know, my grandmother made a joke one time. Sorry, my story is so sporadic, but it's okay. So my grandmother one day, my 21st birthday, she was like, I'm so happy like you turned out the way you are, because for a while I thought something was wrong with you. And that was because I wasn't that expressive. And I think that was a lot of the trauma. But I wrote a lot. I would come home after school. I would like go in my room. I would be quiet. I've always been more connected to my friends. So my family has always been kind of weird for me. And I'm still working through that. Honestly, I've had a distant father, and mostly my grandmother has been my strength. So I say all that to say, I became this person even through the trauma that I experienced. I became this person, I think, honestly, by the grace of God, so that I can continue to usher other people into a space of freedom, into a space of joy, into a space of authenticity. I became this person, but I'm still flawed in so many ways, right? And I still have issues with really believing in the gift that I have. I really have issues sometimes with just going after the things that I feel like I'm supposed to go after. And we get into those spaces of self-doubt and self-deprecation and just self. But when in reality, like, you don't have to do anything alone. I love this shirt by my friend Simone. It says, I am a resource. Like, yes, but when you are a resource, that means there's a whole bunch of other resources around you. So anyways, like I said, I'm not here to preach. I naturally get into a teacher mode. I'm supposed to tell y'all my story. But my story is, if I started to kind of wrap it up a bit here, my story is just more about how you can see yourself in a certain space. You can be a certain person. I'm not even that. People can see you as a certain person, but how you almost have to catch up to the thoughts that other people have about you. And I feel like I've been experiencing that so much as a singer, as a guitarist. I play guitar. As a writer, I released my first book like 2017 for like my 27th birthday, or 26th birthday, I think at the time, a poetry book. I'm still learning how to operate from a space of, yo, I got this. Yo, I'm already good enough. Yo, the space that I'm at is already enough. And I know I'm not the only person, that's in that space. So yeah, my story is just riddled with so many different, I think, stopping points or things that could have stopped me, so many hurdles that could have blocked me. And I've learned that I am probably one of the most resilient. I'm gonna get first. I'm gonna talk to y'all. Look, I I'm resilient, right? You are resilient as well. And I'm literally yelling at y'all. Like, I'm in my car. I need to do this as a series, right? Car talks or something like that. But we are so much more than our situations. We are so much more than our experiences. And we have so much more to give life. So I thank God for women. And again, I'm just going to tie this back up to my grandmother. I thank God for my grandmother who put me in this space, who was literally my biggest cheerleader. And I want to really honor more of her during this Herstory event, during this history, this women's history. And now I've convicted myself to make sure that I'm gonna call both my grandmas, but I'm gonna call my grandma, the one I was talking about today. Well, no, tomorrow. We talked yesterday. We kind of talked. But anyway, I talked to myself. But that's a bit of my story. I feel like there's so much I can tell y'all, and as you can tell, I could probably talk all the time. I can talk for a long time, but I know we have about 15 minutes for this. So I just wanted to say I love y'all so much. Definitely give me let's connect. I love to connect with people. I know that Nikki's going to come back on and we'll probably maybe wrap it up a little bit. But I have so much of my story I can share with y'all. So always feel free to like reach out to me and we can just go from there. Girl, I was just talking. I don't even...
So, girl, you was over here preaching, like you said so much.
I talking. I got in the mood for a second. I was like, oh, what's happening? I was like, what's happening?
I'm like, she's so I don't want to preach. I'm like, go ahead. Like one thing about me, I was raised in a Pentecostal holiness church. So every time somebody say you want to preach, I'm like, go ahead. I know how you feel. That joint just be seeping out sometimes.
Yep.
You don't even be trying. You be trying. Hold you
like, I ain't trying to preach at y'all, but I'm gonna preach at y'all real quick.
Yeah. Listen, this is what this event is for. I thank you for everything you said. And the one thing I want to touch on that you said was like how people feel like that they're out here alone. And I love your saying you have everything you need. And so many times we feel as though we're not enough. Right. And everything we need, literally God has placed everything we need is inside of us all alone. And I thank God for connecting like in our path, in our journey of life. He brings certain people in our life to pull that out, that for which is already within us. So I thank you for highlighting that. I thank you for taking the time out, even though you're hosting another event, to come and share your wisdom. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can follow me at, I'll put it as my name, I am Sanovia. And I see yes to the car talk, so I'm gonna make sure I like make that a thing or something. But I am Sanovia everywhere. It's IamSanovia.com. If you need anything with social media, I'm also am a social media strategist. So that's something, if you go to my page, you'll kind of see like, oh, her page looks pretty dope. So I've been starting to do that with people, and I do that as an independent contractor. So if you just go to IamSanovia.com/services, you can check things like that out. I also come and I do singing, events, poetry, whatever it is. And I host, clearly. I just do a lot of things. So hit me up there. And then one thing I wanted to plug really quickly, tomorrow I am actually co-hosting a benefit concert for a woman named Dolores White. So it's on my Facebook. If you just look up I am Sanovia on Facebook, that is an event that I'm hosting. And that is a benefit concert for a woman who is in she's been in jail for a year. And she's been there because they ended up with a loss of life in a domestic violence abuse dispute. So basically we're fighting that case and we're trying to raise support for over $20,000 for her legal fees. So if that is something you're interested in, please hit me up if you need the direct link or just find it on Facebook. It's called Sing for Her. And I would love for y'all to connect in that space. And yeah, like this is a space definitely for women too. And I want to, and encourage us to come and support Dolores tomorrow on Facebook Live. So we can get that going and sharing. So that's from 6 to 8 p.m. tomorrow night. So I would love for y'all to come. But I am Sanovia everywhere. I'm consistent with that.
Well, I most definitely be tuning in, and I'll definitely share it to my page so that way everyone can see it. Thank you so much.
This is so good. Thank you so much. And shout out to you. I just want to give you that. Shout out, give you your flowers while you still here. Like, shout out to you for hosting this, for doing everything you're doing. I've been seeing your face pop up on flyers. You doing the work. So I appreciate you. And congratulations on everything that you're doing. And like, yeah, that's
like likewise. Like, I listen to your EP every day. Every morning. Every morning.
You at least gotta listen to Wake Up, Wake Up. That makes sense, right? Like,
Yes.
girl, you know you don't need, even though we be doing the makeup, we gotta slay it. But anyway, but I love y'all, and y'all have a wonderful day, and let's stay connected.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yo, everyone who spoke so far has been phenomenal. But guess what? We still got a whole lot of historians that are going to come and share their story. This next woman, oh my God, she is a anointed woman of God. She is a visionary. And if you have a vision, the Bible says, write down the vision and make it plain. So the top of this year, she hosted this vision board party. And let me tell you, because normally I do a vision board, I'm like, what's, is a vision board. But the way she breaks down what to put on your vision board, like you guys really need to connect with her, because some stuff in my vision board has already came true. And we're only in March. Like, let me bring her to the stage. Like, y'all really need to connect with her.
Yes. Yes. I like hearing that.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
My camera's giving me a little problem, but we'll make it work. Everything's good. I'm so happy. That's like a very big testament to like this whole vision board thing, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're not the only one. Like literally, I did a men's vision board party, and the next day, the person got something off their vision board. So to God be the glory. Amen. I love it. Yes. So thank you for having me. I just want to say, like, all you women are so inspiring. Like, y'all set me up good for this point in my life. I was like, I'm nervous, but I don't even know why, because but thank you again. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So tell the people who you are, let them know what you do. And I know you got some words for us. I just don't. I need to get my notepad out right now. Maybe a box of tissues, because I already know how she coming.
So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself through what I do, right? So like Nicki said, I am a visionary, right? But many times we walk through life and we say, what is vision, right? So vision is the thing that God puts inside of us that somehow has to come out. It somehow has to be made alive. It somehow has to become a reality to us, right? So literally, I explain vision as you literally taking everything inside of you, giving it back to God, and then God lets it manifest here on earth, right? So I wasn't always a visionary for like the world, right? I had to first become a visionary for myself, right? So about 5 years ago, God put me on this Speak Life challenge, right? He said, no matter what goes on in your life, no matter what you do, I need you to just speak life. And I was like, okay, God, like, let me do this, right? So it was just really hard because day 1 through like 10 was like great. I was like, yes, I'm breaking these things, right? Like Octavia said, we're breaking generational curses, right? And like Tori does, she gives like little nuggets, right? So I was getting all these words. I was like, yes, 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 yes. Day 10 to like 20, all hell broke loose in my life. I was like, Lord God, like, and God was like, every day was like, yo, you got to just keep speaking this life, right? And I was like, oh my God. So from day 20 to 30, right? I was like, if this thing don't end, Lord, like I'm not gonna be able to do this, right? So God was like, just keep going. So I kept going. From day 30 to 40, literally things started manifesting in my life. Boom, 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 consecutively for 10 days. And I was like, Lord, like, how did this happen, right? But sometimes no matter what you see, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you have to put a word inside yourself, right? So to me, vision is the thing that God, like I said, put inside of you, right? That you have to verbally manifest, right? You have to physically manifest. You have to physically like look at a building and say, you know what? I want a building like that, right? I want a house, right? So when I do these vision boards, right, I tell people you need to get something that's very specific, down to the T. So if I want a black car with red rims and like rose gold interior, that's what I have to find, right? Because what it does is you come into agreement every single day with that thing, right? There's power in agreement. No matter if you think like it's just me, myself, and I, it doesn't matter, right? It says where 2 or 3 are gathered, God's in the midst, right? So when you come together with your mind, body, and soul, you become, you become that thing, right? So I had to start doing that, right? So once I started getting used to doing that, I started making vision boards, right? My first vision board was like so plain. It was like, bleh, right? I look back on it and I'm like, what was I thinking, right? But God had to really show me. He was like, the first year I put everything I wanted. Lord, I want all this stuff, right? And God was like, okay, that's cool. Like, put all that stuff on there. Then the second year, God was like, be a little more specific, right? So I'm being more specific. I'm actually like thinking about things. I redid my vision board, right? So now fast forward 6 years later, I literally like manifest. Like I sit there and I pray. And this year was the longest it ever took me to do a vision board. It took me 4 hours to do this vision board this year, right? And most of it is because it's literally like a reach. Everything on there is such a reach for everything that's going on in my life, right? It's such a spiritual breakthrough. It's a financial breakthrough. It's a mental breakthrough. It's like everything in between, right? So, those are the things that a lot of people don't understand about vision, right? So part of my life is me being a visionary, right? Then the other half of my life is me being a single mom, right? So I've been a single mom for, I would say my younger son's about to be 14 on Tuesday. So I'm going to say for 14 years, right? Because I've had custody of both my sons by myself for 14 years together. So I had to, when I first became a single mom due to default, not by choice at all. My son's father, both my sons had the same father. So their father died. And after he died, I literally went into a tailspin. Like, right, I couldn't understand why, God, you would let this happen. Lord, what are you doing to me? Like I didn't come from a family with a broken home. Like I lived a good life, God. Like, why would you do this to me, right? So I had to come to the conclusion that God had a bigger plan, right? So God started working to me on years ago, like on this aspect, right? So God had to really sit me down one day and was like, Cristina, single's your marital status, mother's your calling, right? And I was like, oh God, that's really deep, right? But a lot of times we don't understand that. A lot of times as women, we look at it like, woe is me, what can I get? And then that like we get manipulation that like comes into our life because we're wounded in the situation. So that's the first thing that walks through the front door of our lives, right? So I had to like literally shut that down in every area, and I had to know that the greater is He that is in me, no matter what situation it is something that is going to manifest, no matter what situation I'm in, how it's going to work, who's around me, who's not around me, if I have support, you know what I'm saying, if Johnny has to go to bed early, whatever it is, like I had to face everything with God. It's me, you, and the kids, right? And God had promised me years ago. He told me when I was pregnant with my second son, like that it was going to be me, him, and the kids. And I just didn't understand it. I was like, Lord, it's always going to be me and you and the kids. Like, Lord, we rock together. Like, come on, God, right? But it wasn't that easy, right? So God started teaching me certain things in order for me to become a coach to single mothers, right? I don't know anyone else who really coaches single moms, but I'm literally I coach single mothers, right? I'm internationally a coach, right? It was, I was doing an event on Facebook, I think 4 years ago, and I literally got women from Pakistan, Africa, India, and some other countries like on that live, right? Which made me international that day, right? I no longer was just this little girl from a little town in New York who just became like, who just went through a struggle. My voice was being heard, right? So in coaching these moms, I teach them how to budget. I teach them how to, okay, you're on food stamps. Let's properly buy food. Let's stack our income tax. Like use this money to get through your income tax. I tell a lot of moms, and it actually works. If you take your income tax now, it should be able to get you all the way up until next January, right? If you budget correctly and use it for what you need to use it for, and not just blow it on whatever you blow it on, right? So in coaching them, I started realizing that a lot of these moms, were hurting their daughters, right? They were like the 4th, 5th, 20th generation of being a single mom, right? And I was like, Lord, we can't do this, right? Because I had to come into agreement with the fact that in my family, I'm the only single mom, right? And I had to say, you know what? This buck had to stop with me. It's not going to hit my kids. It's not going to go through my bloodline, right? So I said, Lord, if I could do it, I got to help these moms do it for their daughters. So I became a mentor to girls ages 5 to 18 years old, right? And I started learning that these girls at 5 years old were learning things and adapting things that many people didn't even know they had. They had struggles that no one was even talking about. They had nowhere to go and no one to talk to. And it was so frustrating for me because I said, yo, why are you at a 5-year-old learning this or repeating this and seeing this and understanding this and, knowing that, what's going on in adult world, right? Where did your childhood go, right? So I ended up making this curriculum. I started writing a curriculum based around the book of Esther, right? And for those of you who don't know, in the Bible, the book of Esther, Esther she was like a peasant Jewish little girl, or not girl, but like a woman who had the opportunity of going to stand before the king because the king's wife was being obstinate, right? And in her not being the person that she was supposed to be for the king, he said, you know what, bump you. I'm gonna get myself a new queen, right? So Esther's uncle found out about it and said, you know what, I'm gonna get you prepared. So for 1 year, she prepared, right? And literally, the Bible doesn't tell us how many people were there, but you have to think in the kingdom there was thousands of people who came through, right? And Esther walked in and she just was herself, right? And being herself, she caught the eye of the king and she became queen, right? And through the process of her being a queen, she ended up not only finding favor with God, but favor with the king. And she ended up saving all the Jews at that time in her community because Haman, who was one of the king's men, was plotting evil against them, right? So I took that, and my whole life I've always prayed, Lord, make me the modern day Esther, right? Lord, I want to be Esther, Lord, like make me everything I could be, right? So in doing that, I created this curriculum that made me become the teacher to the next generation, right? To teach these people teach these young girls how to become an Esther, right? So my biggest phrase with all of them is, in a world that tells you could be anything, why are you trying to duplicate, replicate, and become something you're not? Why are you trying to trend off of something someone else did? Why are you trying to twerk to show how good it is or what it is, right? Why are we trying to say that, oh, I want to be just like so-and-so, when you could stand up and wear your crown and say, I could just be just like me, right? And I ask people this all the time. I actually was on an interview and somebody asked me, are you going to quit that mentoring position so that you could, work here? And I said, no. And they asked me why. And I gave them that speech and they were dumbfounded. They couldn't, like when I say like they had nothing to say, it was crazy. So I ended up writing a curriculum, and the name of the mentorship group is called the Esther Project, right? Because it's my job to really pour into, the world as much as I can. And I feel like these girls are very naive to really what, really what the world is going to be facing. Right now, it's cute. Everyone's cheering you on. They think it's cute. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be respected. You're not going to be loved. You're not going to find the person that God has ordained you to marry. You're not going to do this. And people say, you can't say that, Cristina, but it's true. It's true. How many people have walked past a blessing because they didn't recognize it was a blessing, right? So you got to always be on alert, right? So as time went on, I was like, you know what, God, like I got to do more, right? I got to do more for this. So I became very big in the community, right? So every year I do a backpack event, right? And I created this movement called the Mentors Matter movement, right? Where I come together with other mentors from other towns or other churches or other organizations. And we come together and we donate backpacks and school supplies. And I stuff them every single year, right? And I try to do that like every single year, right? So, and one of the things I learned in starting this whole thing was the fact that many people don't know how to buy school supplies. Now, these are parents, 2-family homes, single parents, single fathers, grandparents. People just don't know how to buy it, right? So I started teaching people that literally I get supplies for 100 kids, right? 100 notebooks, pens, everything, like for less than $40. Like not $40 for 100 notebooks. No, $40 for everything I buy, right? And I started a course. Usually every year around like right in April, I give this course and I teach people, and I actually go to Walmart and like Target and all these places, and I show them how to buy bulk school supplies for like a penny or 5 cents or 10 cents, right? And I get everything, you know what I'm saying? So I started doing that. And then on top of that, like being a minister of God, like I literally last year got ordained, and it was one of the best blessings of my life. When I say my life, I mean my life. I literally had to die to everything I was, every mindset, everything I thought. I had to release a lot of people out of my life. I had to like do all the stuff, right? In order to embrace the fact that God wanted more for me, you know what I'm saying? And there's a higher calling and higher living and higher everything, you know, that God is really, you know, ordained for us to be here on earth about. So I think that's everything that I am. Besides a mom, I'm also a mom of 2 boys, which is funny because I mentor girls, but I have sons.
Thank you so much, Christina. And first of all, we're gonna need to talk because you need to teach me how to. I need to buy them school supplies because
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Nolan's getting up there in age. Next year he'll be in the 2nd grade, so I'm sure that list is gonna be a little hefty.
But this is the thing. I haven't bought school supplies for my sons. Like, went out to buy them because I have like a stockpile since my older son's in kindergarten. My son's in 10th grade right now.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So y'all need to connect with her.
Yeah. When I tell you, like, it's a blessing. God really showed me a lot on how to do this, and I literally save people thousands of dollars.
So, listen,
I'm gonna, when the sign up comes, I'll be like
shoot me that link.
Yes.
And are you still doing your vision board parties?
Yes. Oh, let's talk about that. Yes. So I broke down my life this year. I wanted to really concentrate on every part of me. So I'm like doing everything about me in quarters, right? So not that you can't do a vision board after the end of March, but you're behind if you are. So I do vision board parties every Friday. I could do them other days of the week if you're not available Fridays, but Fridays are usually the best days for everyone. So Friday nights, I usually do them. If you need it, hit me up, inbox me. You can find me at Cristina 2.0 on Facebook, Instagram. You can find me on Ms_Cristina 2.0. And I think that's it.
And wait, don't you do consultations as well?
I do. Yeah. Thank you, Nicki.
See, your friends got you. They're like, you gotta plug that too.
So okay, so I do visionary consultations for $50 an hour, which is really, honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth, that is very much under, because I know someone who does it for $150 an hour, and I said, my God, and she gives less information than I do. So yes, so I do it for businesses. I actually got booked to do a vision board party and to write a vision for a company based off of Clubhouse. So if you're on Clubhouse, find me, I'm Cristina 2.0. I do a lot of nuggets on Clubhouse too for free, things that I should probably charge for. Try not to give a lot because Ambition be yelling at me. But yeah, so I do that. So I do everything. Plus I'm a music manager. I'm a marketer. So if you need help in anything like that, let me know. I write contracts also. I write business contracts, personal contracts. I do everything. And if you want your child, or you know someone who has a child that wants to be mentored, please hit me up. I'm always available. I mean, I hardly sleep, so if you need something, let me know. I do a lot of Zoom calls now with young girls, which is a lot easier for parents because they don't have to let their kids leave the house or anything like that. Single moms, if you need me, let me know. I will do an event for you also. And that's really it. I think that's everything.
Thank you so much, Cristina. Y'all make sure y'all get with her, okay?
Thank you.
And the thing about her vision boards, she can tell you everything on there be coming to pass. And the thing about her vision board party is we prayed over the visions.
We do. I do. I actually fast for you. Everyone who does it, I do like a fast for y'all. So literally, like I beseech heaven on your behalf, literally, because I think it's important, you know what I'm saying, that God really comes into agreement with the things that we do, you know? So it's a blessing.
Yes. So she's going to drop all her information in the comment section. So be sure to connect with her and all the wonderful ladies that are out here that is on this panel. They're amazing in the community. So be sure y'all pour into them, because this is what we need. These ladies, they're not on this just to build up their name. They're not on this just to line their pockets. They're really on this because they want to touch someone that really inspirational. That's why I handpicked them for this event. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you so much.
We'll definitely talk soon, sis.
Yes.
The next lady that I'm going to bring to the forefront, she's one of my faves. I met her at one of Ambitious book signings, I believe, and we've been connected ever since. She's a phenomenal singer, a phenomenal poet. She does a little bit of everything, and I'm talking about. She's a trauma survivor, and she teaches. She basically, her message is basically, if she can survive, so can you. So without further ado, let me bring to the stage the phenomenal, the legendary Nettie Long poetry.
Girl, you are too kind. What did you say?
Oh,
you are too kind.
and she rocking the shy girl.
Come on with it. Come on with it.
Girl.
I know y'all see it. I know y'all see it. Where is it?
Yes. She's a part of the shy girl gang.
Gang, gang. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, and I'm not afraid to say it. Not anymore, anyway. I used to be so shy. Good Lord. Well, thank you so much, Nikki, for this platform. I just love every time you come up with something savvy to talk about. I'm just like, yes, I wish I thought of that. Yes. But I'm learning, girl. I'm learning.
Yeah.
So, always giving out nuggets. I appreciate you, sis.
Exactly. So what I want to do is get off your stage because I know you got something to share with us on tonight. So I'm going to get off your stage and I'm going to let you get the people what you prepared for them.
Oh, goodness. My hair is all over the place. Thank you. So, hi. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Nettie Long Poetry. I've been a performing poetry artist for the last 2 years. I've been writing for the last 7. And how I even became who I am today is due to a very severe trauma that just not only affected me, but also affected my whole entire family. I'm a single mom of 7 children, 2 grandchildren, and when this trauma happened, like I said, not only it affected me, it also affected my children. And we all it was very important for all of us to get our mental stability back. We were pretty traumatized by our situation, and it was important. I knew it was important that everybody receive therapy. And so we were introduced to a trauma-focused therapist, and she stayed with us for about 3 years. Now, anybody who suffered trauma, it takes a traumatic toll on you as an individual, let alone a whole family, because as a mother, all you care about is the health of and the healthiness of your children. That's really all you care about. So you forget about, yourself, because what's important is trying to pick up the pieces because they've been traumatized. And kids don't know how to recover from that. And so please know that if you've ever faced trauma, or if your children have faced any type of trauma, it's just never too late to get help. It's never too late to get a mental health check. And I just encourage people to make sure that you're doing all that you can for your children, because at the end of the day, they can't really fight for themselves, not when they were as young as my children were. And so what I want to share today, and I'm going to go with 2 different pieces today, one in particular called Blueprint, but just know that you are the light, whether you're the light in your immediate family or the light in someone's situation. You have to know that you have a purpose. You've been created and put here on this earth for a reason. Find out what that purpose is. look to see what your attributes are when it comes to being that light. And so I'm just going to start with, all I ever needed in my whole life was love, security, validation. I mean, tell me something more than what my mother or father have told me. Don't you just get it? Does anyone get it? The blueprint of my expectations came thousands of years ago, and he lived among us. And yet he had to leave from where he was from because no one could see who he was beyond his earthly figure. Perhaps no one can see me. Perhaps no one can see me past my earthly shortcomings, and their expectations of me speaks the way they look at me, and nothing will deter me from going out and be who he has called me to be, which is blessed, highly favored, unique, made in his image and in his likeness. It's no wonder why evil lurks to smother the light. It can't endure any kind of light, let alone my light. I shine brighter than the sun rays that grace my face, and brighter than any bright sunny day, brighter than any beautiful moonlights on any given day. And you too should feel this way. Our complexities are only complex to each other, but the master link, the Messiah, designer of all our blueprints, our very existence, our way of being, was all designed with one purpose in mind: to share our light with him in mind. And I really like that piece because it just really represents who we are as people. He has created us to be beautiful beings, to be worthy, to make sure that you feel that you are worthy. Just know that you are. And if you don't believe it, get to, work your way up to those steps of knowing that you are more than enough. God didn't make a mistake with you. He doggone didn't make a mistake with me. And even though all the traumas that I have been through, and I have been through some significant trauma, I can definitely relate with Miss Octavia when she was explaining some of her trauma, like, my God, I just know that there's always going to be something greater on the other end of it. And we have to know that God has already put us in position to win. We're in it to win. We go through some of the things we go through because God is a level God. He levels up, right? He wants us to always level up. So I'm here to win it. I'm here all for it. And sometimes I get distracted, and sometimes depression comes knocking on my door, but I'm here to level up. What I do know that I didn't do before is call depression by its name. And Nikki, you can attest to this. I even called you the other day, and I just said, I just ain't been myself. I'm definitely depressed. And what did you do? Turned around and started encouraging me, and everything that I needed to kind of build myself back up. And it was like I already knew what I needed to do, but when you can recognize what is wrong with you and call it by its name, you can defeat that thing. And so I'm just ready for the level up. I'm ready for God's level up, his level up, and there is no limitations with him. So that is what I have to say about that. A little bit about what's in store for me is that I am working on my third album. It's called Oceans, and then I also have an ebook dropping. The release to pre-order that book, that poetry book, is going to be April the 10th. I'm really excited about this. Nikki's been helping me with that, so I appreciate her expertise. I want to leave with one more poetry piece before I go, but I just also wanted to say, don't allow things, anything, anyone to dim your light. Know that you are the light, but just also know that there are adversaries that are designed to try to smother your light. All right? Know your purpose. Now, I wanted to just kind of really touch base on a little bit about my background and all the little relationships that I've been through, but I am no less of a woman, even in all of my mistakes. So this piece is called I Am All Woman. And if you can relate and you can agree to some of the stanzas I'm about to spit, well, let me hear, or not, I won't be able to hear, but let me see some snaps. on our live, okay? I am all woman, roughly about 4 decades old, in love with nature's new and old, trying to figure out how to beat the reasons why we get old. I am all woman. And even though I hide behind the many scars people have inflicted on me as a child, I hide behind the many scars that have allowed grown men to continue to lie to me over and over and over again. I am all woman, bearing 2 beautiful daughters for him after telling me he couldn't get me pregnant. All because he didn't want to wear a condom. But things didn't work out with him, and on to the next man who didn't have a problem wearing the condoms. He just liked poking holes through them. So I bore a son for him, and no, I didn't want any more kids with him, so I left him and the abuse he continued to trap me in. So I put a restraining order on him. And years later, married the man of my dreams, who I thought was the only man for me, only to find out he was the man who wore many disguises, one in particular just for me. And even after bearing a son and adopted his 2 sons and his little sister in what society would view as a perfect marriage, he had a lifestyle that got him locked up and deported. So we were left abandoned. So I am all woman. I will never understand why this was done to me the way that it was done, but I know God has his perfect plan for me. But how and why did they trap me? Just to drop seed in me, just to abuse and leave me to raise their offspring of trying to build up kings and queens from a broken family was never going to go as planned, you see. No, there would be many obstacles that would stand in my way to try to make something fruitful out of the kids I've made, yeah, but I could never understand this, but I'm still all woman, broken, and although broken, I am as tough as nails, tough as a storm that dismantles foundations from the bottoms of the floor. I have no problems getting into a tussle to scrape up the trash that tries to come and damage what I raised. And no thank you to the donors that gave, not in payments of physical or moral or financial support, to have a say in the way that I raised my kids. I am all woman, and dare I say it again, I am all woman to the fullest. I am fierce, a force to be reckoned with, and the perfect catch to catch the eyes of a worthy companion that come with the right intentions. I am all woman, created with such poise and beauty that anyone that looks at me is baffled by the looks of me, breath taken away, because why? I'm stunning, and there's no replica of me. I am one of a kind and worth your time. I am all woman because I'm humbled. I don't let things like that cloud my mind. I'm not conceited. I am all woman because I am caring before I am careless. I am loving before I am loveless, and I am whole. And even though it took pieces of me to get to a place where I am now whole, was worth the journey it took to get me home to the destiny where it was predestined for me to be this phenomenal superwoman. I am all woman because my kids, they adore me. And wouldn't let nothing happen to me, let alone let some man come and try to confuse things. I have boys that will go to bat for me and daughters who pamper me, and all of them are equally as wise as me. So excuse you cocky men that thought they had a chance with me and tried to fool or trick me. This ain't my first rodeo. I am all woman. Thank you.
You better say that, sis. You better say that.
I am all woman, and so are you.
Let the people know where to find you.
Yes, you can find me on all social media platforms, either under Nettie Long Poetry or just Nettie Long. I made it that simple. I have a SoundCloud. That I'll drop into. The link here. And I just recently dropped "Sleeping with the Enemy." That's a pretty dope track. So listen to that.
Yes, it is. It's a pretty dope track. So be on the lookout for Nettie. Be on the lookout for her books next month, National Poetry Month.
Woo-woo!
what better month to drop a book?
Amen.
So
Amen.
be on the lookout for that pre-order. Thank you always, sis, for
Always.
coming through and just lighting the stage on fire like you do at every one of my events.
Well,
And
thank you.
we'll talk soon.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Next we have another person who I love so much. She is so awesome. Another person who I met through Ambition. Shout out to Ambition for connecting me with some very dope people. If you don't know who Ambition the poet is, I don't know what's wrong with you, but how about you go find out? Google him because he's Googleable, okay? But then before our next historian that I'm bringing to the stage is no one other than Brenda Phillps. She is an amazing poet. Let's put that out there. She is an amazing poet, motivational speaker. She has this dope nonprofit. She has this dope line, which I see her wearing right now. Be inspired. So let me just bring her to the stage. Hey,
Hey, love, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am so good. A little nervous, like, I'll be doing these lives and stuff like that, but I'm beyond honored that you see me worthy enough to share a space and stage with so many beautiful, beautiful women that have come before me and that come after me. I just want to thank you for creating this platform. We are in the month of Women's History Month and women's empowerment, and that is awesome and all well, but we all don't get to experience the genuine connections with other women, and that's not often talked about, because some people create these women empowerment platforms, but they be empowerment on the forefront, but behind closed doors, it's not really dead. So I just want to commend you, and I want to thank you for providing the space and being genuine with it as well.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off your stage and let you drop your whatever you want to. I was about to say let you drop your piece, but I don't know if you're doing poetry today.
But
you
know what? Like, I know you're gonna go off the stage, but I didn't even know if I was going to do a piece because, like, just to let the people know out there, like, Nicki to tell you, and I'm gonna just be transparent about this moment. I was ready to pull out because of some things that I had going on, But I just commend, once again, I thank you because you were listening to me and I felt so guilty, but I'm so grateful and so blessed that I'm still able to be here. So, yeah, you can remove yourself. I kind of outline what I'm going to talk about and what we're going to do. I don't need much time. Hey, everybody. My name is Brenda Phillps. I consider myself a creative. I have a nonprofit called We Care. It provides educational and recreational activities for youth. And I also just recently launched a empowerment apparel collection called Be Inspired. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, towards the end. But let me just take a sip of water, okay? But I really wanted to come and talk to y'all about how pain births purpose, right? So here's the thing, like, we all have a story, and once again, shout out to Nicki for creating Herstory. And there was a young lady that came before me. I apologize if I'm butchering her name. I hope I don't. Sanovia. I felt like when I was listening to her speak, I felt like I was listening to me. Our stories were so similar. I had sent her a message. I said, from the trap house to your grandmother's house, Big Mama's house, to you going in your room and writing when nobody was looking, because that was your safe space. My pain has birthed purpose for me. Unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm one of those people who have a story for everything. Like, you ever meet one of those people that it seemed like you might tell a story, but then they go and tell a story that seem like they trying to one up you? It may seem like that with me because I have unfortunately been through some traumatic experiences. But what I will say about my traumatic experiences, it has brought me right here in front of you guys today. So I thank God for that. I thank God for my voice. And not only that, I thank God for my past and my pain, because it's birthed a purpose that is within me. If it was not for my trauma, I've been, to tell you guys a little bit about me, I've been sexually abused. I've been physically abused. I didn't have my parents growing up. Both of my parents were addicted to drugs, anything. I've been to jail, anything that you could think of, I've been through it. You know, if I told you a story, like I have a poem and it says, you know, like I've lived with roaches, rats, not just roaches, rats, but birds and bats. Like we had holes in our walls where birds and bats could get inside of our house, and that's where we lived at. Very unlivable conditions. And I have 7 siblings, 7 amazing, beautiful siblings that I love so, so very, very much. And I used to be one of those people who I never thought that I could overcome. You know, Sanovia has said that, you know, she has perseverance, but for a long time, I was almost like, whoa, why me? Why me, God? I didn't know what my why was. I didn't know what my purpose was. And what happened was before I created my nonprofit, I was in a 9-to-5. I was in the corporate world. And when I was in the corporate world, I wondered and I asked God, why am I here? I don't know why I'm here. I don't feel like I have any purpose. And the Holy Spirit, call it what you want to call it, had came to me and it said, but what do you love? And everybody that knows me personally knows that I love kids, knows that I will give you the shirt off my back. And because of my experiences, I knew that I never wanted a child to endure the things that I had endured. So I wanted to create a safe space for them. And that's where We Care was birthed. So We Care was birthed due to the trauma that I had experienced as a young child. So that is what that led into. And then once I experienced We Care, and once I started to use my voice and stand in my truth, because a lot of us fear and have a hard time standing in our truth because we are ashamed of it. You got to understand that your truth is not just for you, it's for somebody else. It's for you went through so somebody else could get through. Let me say that again. You went through so somebody else could get through, but you got to understand that power within yourself. Just like my shirt says, magical as fuck. Like, you got to understand that your magic, when you sprinkle your magic on somebody else, is contagious. So you went through all the things that, when you went through all the things that you went through it so somebody else could get through, so you could help somebody else. This journey and this path of life, which I am beginning to learn and understand, is not just about you. So understand that your pain births purpose. And from me finding what my purpose is with developing my nonprofit, I have done everything. And this is a humble brag. And I thank God so much for allowing me to even say that I've done these things. I've done 3 college tours for over 80 kids. I have mentored hundreds of kids at this point because I'm in my 8th year of my nonprofit being in business. We do a community day. We have done a prom giveaway, you know, and with me being able to use my voice, yes, I do poetry as well. I am known for my poetry, but that's just one part of me. With me creating my nonprofit, I was able to learn how to develop curriculum and programs to get inside of schools. So now I get contracted out by schools to bring in my expertise. I'm a youth development expert. I help kids cope and deal and heal with trauma. And I also deal with kids with social and emotional learning, which is a huge thing right now. I had worked with kids prior to COVID with this, and now I'm able to do it. So understand that your storm is not going to always be rain. It's not going to always be thunder and lightning. The sun comes out at some given point in time, but you have to believe it. And like Sanovia said, you have to understand that you have what it takes. You have the perseverance to get through. So with that being said, I want to share something personally because, it's just on my heart. So we went through COVID last year. And I was due to make the most amount of money in my business. So I had my nonprofit. My nonprofit was going great. I was planning my 4th college tour for students. And then I also had 6 contracts lined up with schools, and I was due to make the most amount of money I've ever made within my business and just have a successful year. It was supposed to be my most successful year, and then COVID hit and everything went away. I hadn't worked for anyone for over 3 years, and it was very much a struggle for me. So I had a very low last year. I had never thought within the time of me doing everything that I've done in business, because we do a lot of community service, we do a lot of giving back, we teach our youth the importance of giving back, you know what I mean? No matter how much or how little that you have, it's so important to give. And I'm naturally a giver, so that is something that I do teach. So with going through all of that, I didn't know where to look or what to do. And once again, God said to me, use what you already have. Use what it is that I've given you. So I was going through this traumatic experience, and I never thought that people would buy like any type of apparel or anything from me. I never tried. And what happened was I started to put my quotes that I do in a lot of my speeches with my youth, because I do a lot of large presentations. I've spoken to over 40,000 kids at this point. I've been in numerous schools. So I started to take a lot of the quotes that I say in my speeches and I started to put them on shirts. And one day I just went to my print guy and I said, I'm going to just get 15 of these printed up, right? I'm going to just get 15 of these printed up and I'm going to just put it out there on my social media, see if anybody wants to buy a shirt, right? And I sold out in like the first 30 minutes. And I sold out so fast that people was in my DM saying, do you have any more shirts? Can I get a shirt? Do you have my size left? Can you get my size? And I started to think, well, if I sold 15 shirts, I could sell 100 shirts, right? And not only that, I knew that my words held power and they had a message behind it. I knew that what I was creating wasn't your ordinary clothing brand or whatever the case may be. It's not knocking anybody because there's room for all of us. So I was beating myself up because that was something that I do. And if you're an entrepreneur, you know, you may overthink. So I was thinking to myself like, Dad, I don't think that, you know, this will go or get as far as it was. But that's another issue a lot of us have. And even as women, we have it. We need to get out of our own way. We need to believe in ourselves. The moment you start to believe in yourself, other people believe in you. So you have to believe in you first. Even when there's nobody else around, you have to believe in you. Even on those dark days, you have to believe in you. You know, Nettie was speaking about like depression and just when you get so down on yourself that, you know, when nobody else is looking, you got to be your biggest cheerleader to come out of it. Because once again, that is your purpose. So even with me selling those shirts and stuff, I started to develop more stuff. I had hit a low and I created a shirt that said built not broken. And I don't know, it just literally I was going through like a bout of depression. I was very, very depressed, and I will never forget one thing that kept me was my writing. That is just what has kept me. That's what throughout everything that I've been through, throughout all the traumas, that is what has kept me. So I knew that when I was writing in my journal, I didn't initially know the things that I was writing in my journal and the things that I was speaking to other people would be printed on t-shirts and stuff like that. And I didn't know initially that it was for other people. So a lot of times when I'm speaking and I'm doing things, these were things that I said to myself and I'm just projecting it to other people now because it's worked for me. You know, how do you speak to yourself? That's something else you want to think about. If you're so kind to other people, how kind are you to yourself? So I created this shirt, Built Not Broken, and I created a line of quotes that I just say that people have known me for years. I will always say I'm magical. You know, I leave a little sparkle everywhere I go. You know what I mean? Everywhere I go, I shine. You know, that's something that I truly believe, because when you shine, you attract that same energy. So Built Not Broken, I created Built Not Broken, getting back to that, sorry I'm all over the place, and I put a love letter on the back. And I put a love letter on the back. And I remember when I first created this shirt, I had someone tell me, oh, nobody's going to read that. Like, nobody's reading all of that. But I knew that if I'm one of those type of people that stood in line behind somebody else and I read the back of their shirt, then there's at least another 1% of individuals that do the same thing that I do. So I didn't even let that hinder or block what it was that God had placed on my heart to do. So then once I created that, that has been our best selling hoodie, t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, everything. It's called Built Not Broken. So once again, my pain birthed my purpose. Everything that I had gone through had literally put me in the position that I am in now. I take my traumas, I take my sorrows, I take my hurt, I take whatever was meant to destroy me, and I throw it back with positivity and love. You know what I mean? Because that's the heart that God had gave me. God had given me a heart to give. And I now understand that everything that I go through, once again, is building me. It's not breaking me. It's building me. And not only that, I'm going through it to help somebody else get through it. So I just want you guys to understand that whatever it is that you may be going through, whatever it is that you feel as though has you down in this moment, in this time right now. You know what I mean? Shift those negative thoughts and turn them into something positive. Because what you're going through, once you get through it, you're gonna be able to allow someone else and help someone else get through whatever it is that they're going through. I want to thank you guys so much for your time. I'm not going to take up too much time once again, because like I said, me and Nikki had spoke because I was dealing with some personal things. And when I tell you, I just got all scatterbrained. But God has said to me, one thing I'm really big on is committing. And when I feel like I'm working in the purpose that God has called me to be, I cannot deny him. I cannot pull out. This was a commitment that was made before I started to go through whatever it is that I was going through. And he still had given me the voice and the words and the wisdom to be able to share with you guys. You understand what I'm saying? So just understand whatever it is you're going through is not going to destroy you. It's meant to build you and not break you. I'm just going to do a couple of plugs. If you want to follow me on social media, I love to connect with other people. I love to build with other people. I love women empowerment. I love women. I love us. You know, you can follow me at Miss We Care on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook just at Brenda Phillps. And my empowerment apparel line, which is so amazing. I'm relaunching. I'm so excited. God has been so good. It's done so well, y'all. It's done so well. Once again, get out your own way, because you do not know or understand the power that is within you, because this is something that I never even thought would take off the way that it would take off. And now I got people in Cali, Texas, South Carolina. I didn't ship everywhere. I ain't ship overseas yet, but I'm claiming it. But I just, beyond my wildest dreams, people are wearing my empowerment apparel line that I created with my own words and my own thoughts. So get out your own way and do God's work. So you can follow Be Inspired. Once again, this is one of my shirts, magical as fuck. I always tell people I'm the balance between righteousness and righteousness. I love God, but just don't play with me. So you'll always, see me talk about that. But yeah, follow me at Miss We Care. You can follow my nonprofit at We Care Do You. And we will have some things coming up this year, since COVID is, alleviating a little bit. We're looking to bring back our community day, our book bag drive. We're going to try to create something special. You guys can donate to that. You'll see flyers. You can keep up with me that way. I post a lot on Instagram more than anything. I'm on Instagram a lot, so you will be able to follow me and keep up with me on Instagram. I follow everybody back. Because I love everybody, and there's just a space and a place where we could all support each other and we could all win. And go check out Be Inspired at beinspiredcollections.com. And thank you so much, Nikki. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming through. I really believe that it was meant for you to be here. I feel like those words, I know they touched me, and I know they touch everyone who's tuning into the live. The comments were going crazy, and I know they're going to touch people who stream into the replay. And I keep saying, even if it's like a year from now and they happen to stumble across it on YouTube, you're going to continue to bless someone. So I really do thank you. I thank you for your transparency. I thank you for your authenticity. I thank you for creating Be Inspired, because every time I wear that sweatshirt, I'm telling you,
but no, sidebar real quick, because I know you got to go. I know you got other people coming on. But once again, what I wanted to say that I didn't get to say was the Built Not Broken shirt that somebody was like, oh, nobody's going to read all of that. When I tell you, I get so many messages like, oh my God, I read your shirt, and somebody in Walmart came up to me, or somebody has said to me. And y'all, I'm telling y'all, just go check out the website. You don't even got to buy nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Sidebar, I'm waiting for them sweatsuits to drop this week. Okay?
Okay, real quick, and then we gonna go. But yes, my last drop of my sweatsuits are this week. When I tell you, they sold out. I had, I think, 18 sweatsuits. They sold out. I was on the floor crying, I cannot believe God just did that. And it may not be big for somebody else, but that was major for me. So I've been reading up on sweatsuits. Now I'm working, once again, I said I'm relaunching in the fall. I'm working with an overseas vendor to perfect my brand, because I really believe this is something that, once again, is bigger than me. The things that I've been through is bigger than me. And now my words hold so much weight and power that people in across the world is wearing it. So Thank you for allowing me to connect with your audience. I hope some of you guys follow me and I follow you guys back, and we just gonna connect and vibe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikki. I'll talk to you soon because we'll be working together soon.
Yeah, I'll talk to you this week because I'm getting a sweatsuit this time.
Okay.
See you. Everyone has been so amazing, has been so phenomenal. I want to thank everybody who came in so far. And guess what? We're not done yet. I still have some more historians that's going to come on, share their stories, and drop some knowledge on you. Next, we have another phenomenal poet that I met at Voices in Power, none other than Lady Quotable, who has been doing so much dynamic stuff in the community right here in Philly. I'm gonna bring her in. You mute. No, I can't hear you.
There we go, Nick. It was muted.
Yeah. Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful, busy, tired, all at the same time.
Listen, you're a very busy woman.
I already know. And listen, you're vibrant. Like your attitude, girl, you so grown. When the first time I saw you perform, you got it going on. You is kicking butt out here.
Oh,
like you really kicking butt out here. Everything you so motivation. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you. Everything with the black corner.
The black corner, my name is Cynthia Hughes, and I go by as Lady Quotable. So the one thing about I went through the black corner thing was at 43, it was like my dad passed away. I was scared that I was going to pass away at 43, but not just that. My mom is legally blind. So I thought I was going to go blind and die at 43. So I was like literally depressed. So I had to think of something to do, and that is my doorbell. I had to think of something to do, so everybody's going to walk in right now. So I had to think of something to do in the neighborhood to keep it, keep me motivated, keep me moving, doing things in my community. I'm sorry to be rude. You have to wait 1 minute. Thank you. I'm sorry, Nikki. So I was doing so many things in the community to build us a better situation. Okay, I'm back at it. Okay. So the Black Corners for Entrepreneurs All Cultures. And what I did was get different brands of people to come out to our corner. I was motivated by, the pandemic, people not working. I needed something to do. I wasn't in a relationship or anything like that. So my thing was just focus on not going blind and not passing away at 43. So once I focused on that, I'm like, I have to stay busy. So they started connecting with me like, oh, Lady Q, you can do this. You have this leeway to sit there. You have this space to do this water ice, or you have this message. But I never knew what the message was he was wanting me to do. So I just went and did things to empower my neighborhood. I saw things that they wasn't doing for our women. Working at Women Against Abuse years ago, that influenced me to write poetry. That's what came with Lady Q. One of my best friends had passed away. He named me Lady Q. So everything was like a depressing situation. But what I did, I started to write. And when I started to write, that's how I started to heal. When I started to heal, I started to share. When I started to share, I started to share with my community, started to share with myself. I used to sit there and look past the mirror like, I am powerful. I love myself, and that's what I did. That's the message I passed. Wasn't better than nobody or whatever, but it was like I had to take care of my mom. My dad was no longer here. Like, am I going to go blind? I'm going to die at 43. I passed that stage. I'm turning 44 this year. I am actually proud. I have so many positive things going on right now. I'm overwhelmed with everything. That's why it's like this. I have donations on my porch. They come to my house every day. We have a food pantry that you can donate to. We have food sites on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I have volunteer women that come out who are retired and just come show love. And I don't know how to say it. I'm so emotionally bound because I heard so many powerful women tonight that I'm truly inspired by. It's like, I'm actually honored to be here as a historian to even share this situation, this platform with these women, because I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to network. I'm ready to grow. So my Black Corner is really like, we have dates up to April 3rd. We're so booked. They send me emails for everything. I deliver food. We wrote songs. I have to say a lot of stuff going on, but I don't want to get emotionally bound because I was touched by a lot of women today. Just, spiritually talking, and we connect differently spiritually. I was raised in the church and things like that because God keeps me humble at the end of the day. I deal with a lot of attitudes and a lot of people every day, but I'm humble. I love what I do. I live and breathe the Black Corner. I did Neighborhood Youth Project in 2006. I was Hustle Mom. I did basketball league tournaments. I did drill teams. I did everything, anti-bully rallies, everything to improve our neighborhood. You can start one person at a time. They're going to believe or they're going to follow at the end of the day. So it really is not at the end of the day because it's a beginning to the day. So every day I get up, I wake up, I say, oh, I can see. You understand what I'm saying? Or I made it another year. Life is so precious. And from me focusing on the Black Corner for the last 7 months, we've been going strong. I just love it. Like, I can't even explain. I just love to share. I love to grow. We was in the Promise Zone paper. We connect with PC. We work with a couple of state reps around here. Alma Brown's working with us. Fang, I got to give him a definitely shout out. It's just that I'm just really inspired. And I'm willing to grow with the women that actually was on here today. And I'm just totally happy for Nicki. She's doing her thing. When I met her, she like, Lady Q, you're doing his thing. But I'm so proud of you, Nicki. I'm definitely honored for you having me on here today. And I'm definitely willing to work and network with all you ladies so we can grow together. I love meeting new people. I love women and I love the growth. 2021 is all about us. But I'm not going to do with no poetry, but you can actually find Cynthia Hughes on Facebook. Quotable Single Mom's been going for 10 years when I first started doing my poetry 10 years ago. So what I did was actually go back to my poetry, and it helped me put air back in me. And it made me breathe again. It made me like, okay, I can do this. I can share this. I can make this happen. I can bring this here. I'm an unconditional love player, period. I'm you just get me. I will get up. They like, you never get sleep. I go. Because West Philly, we have to start the trend. We losing kids. We losing our women. It's too much things going on. Domestic violence, gun violence, police brutality. We got to be the change at the end of the day. So I'm just saying, the Black Corner, Entrepreneurs All Cultures, Neighborhood Youth Project, everything that's we just have so much going on. I just can't really get into it. But because I'm trying to not to, be upset and cry or be emotionally bound. But I love seeing and waking up every day and know that I can see or I made it another year. So I'm not gonna be all extra, but Nicki, I love you to ever love you ever. And I had somebody still at my door, one of my volunteers. So I'm not gonna hold you. Emotionally, I love you. I want to stay connected with you and everything you do. And I wrote some new poetry, Nicki. You want to help me with my book? Because one of my community partners like, yeah, I had to work with this girl named Nicki D. I said, Nicki. I know you ain't say Nicki. I was like, yes. So
yes,
listen, not really stop doing my poetry book because I went through a depression situation. I was like 220 pounds. And you already know when we get on stage, you like, girl, we gotta hold our stomach and talk at the same time. But right now, you already know, trying to say a part and there is too many things you got, but I love I'm happy. I'm really happy. When you say you're happy to share, we couldn't say that before because I wrote 10 years of poetry and I was like, ooh, I was a man hater. Oh man, I was going in, but it was like it relived. I looked at it. I said, you know what? I got this, and I share it because it's other stories. That that didn't make it, or suicide, went to jail and things like that. I always tell women, get a pen and a paper. Don't scratch this car, boo boo. Write it down because you can put them on blast. How Nicki? So anyway, but I want you to, continue doing what you're doing. I'm so happy for you at the end of the day. I'm definitely want to network with all the queens today. My name is Lady Quotable. Find us Tuesdays and Wednesday. We also have clothes donations. We're having a big Easter party. We have dates. I have calendars. I have a secretary, treasurer, and artist. I have a whole committee of people of the Black Corner. I love them to death. So it's not it's like I'm running here and my volunteers like still on my porch. So you can come here anytime. If you need some emergency situations, diapers, food, Lady Q have it. If you need me to come in the middle of the night, drop some, I can do that. And I'm back into my poetry situation again. So
yeah, hit me up so we can get this book out. Okay.
Already know, Nikki, we supposed to been out there doing our poetry sisters and stuff like that. So I so love you. And
we gonna get back. The pandemic's almost over. We gonna get it.
Yeah, tell Ambitious don't get me. I'm coming to him because I know tell Ambitious I'm coming. I love him. Tell him I'm coming. I'm sorry, but I'm coming. But I love you. I'm gonna continue watching while I have time. And have a great show, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yes, with your relationship. Yes, Nikki. Girl,
thank you.
Tell them it's possible. Tell them it's possible.
Listen.
Yes, so I will continue watching and love you, baby.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This has been like such an awesome experience. You can plan and put something together. It always turns out like beyond what I can imagine. And let me bring the last historian on for tonight. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. Everything has been great thus far. I've listened to everybody's testimonies, everybody's stories, and I just am excited to connect with everybody because, Nikki, you know how we met on Clubhouse.
On Clubhouse.
Yes. But I'm just excited. I can get started whenever you want me to.
I'm gonna let you have the stage.
Okay. All right, you guys. I need you to turn your volume all the way up because I have a secret that most people wouldn't share with you. And that secret is you are victorious in your career journey. As you see on my tagline, it says Crystal Williams, dope career coach by default. And you'll understand why as I continue on with my talks tonight. So, why are you victorious in your career journey? Because you are blessed by the best and doused in anointing that is overflowing with testimony after testimony of God's grace and mercy over your life. Then, if that's the case, why is it that statistically 53% of Americans are currently unhappy at work or with the work that they do on a day-to-day basis? Let's talk about that. Let's think about that. Over half of the workforce is unhappy, which is truly sad, right? You're probably like nodding your head, yeah, and I can't see you, but it's all good. But thank God, and I thank God every single day for the assignment that He has called me for, which is to cover 9-to-5 professionals in their career journey and give them God-sized strategies on how to truly advocate for themselves in their career journey. And I do that through my career branding firm, and it addresses that sad statistic that we just talked about. And it's the driving force behind one of my key missions in life, which is to bring happiness back to God's people in the workforce. Specifically, I position and empower individuals such as yourself who are unhappy at work to regain authority of their career journey so they won't have to do what? Sacrifice their sanity in their workplace, okay, or in their career journey, period. I believe that when you take authority in anything, but in my case, in your career journey, your birthrights will not be sacrificed. And the birthrights I'm specifically talking about and I'm referring to is your happiness, your joy, your peace. And without these birthrights, y'all, guess what? In your career journey, your sanity is at stake. It is at stake. So if you are listening under the sound of my voice now, and you are currently trading in 8 to 10 hours of your day to be unhappy, joyless, and not fulfilled, guess what? I need y'all to jump on my calendar real quick, because I'm trying to be obedient to the colon, okay? And I just need to get y'all back on the path to happiness within your career journey, so you can truly take authority of it, okay? And so, more on my story and how I got started. So I'm no longer working in corporate America or working for an employer. I'm full-time entrepreneurship. I'm full-time all in into my assignment. So I can honestly say, you know, I did not leave my last employer because I was sacrificing my sanity at my job. I left because it was a higher calling on my life, as mentioned previously. But when I was an employee, right, I knew that I didn't want to simply survive in my career journey, but I wanted to thrive in my career. I knew that I didn't want to, you know, that phrase, fake it till you make it. I knew that wasn't me, because I wanted to authentically and walk into my journey and use all the gifts that God bestowed in me, right? So, and I didn't want to wait for others to have to recognize the brilliance that I bring to the table. I mean, it sounds good, right? I knew all those things about myself, but I didn't always have that type of mentality. A little over 10 years ago, I had experienced career tragedy. And it was in my third consecutive summer internship where I was working with a company that I always wanted to work for. But that summer in particular, things went straight haywire. I was called this, I was called that. I was accused of doing things that I had never even done. So, but what's funny is God will definitely answer your prayers when you pray them. I said, God, if this is not the door you want me to go through and get this particular career opportunity, then block every single door. And every single door was open. But how many of you know that when doors are open, another door opens? So that's what happened in my case. But all along, while going through that whole entire tragedy in my career, God was giving me things that now I know how to truly interview well. He was telling me how to strategically set up my resume, how to set up and articulate my value that I bring to the table to other employers that I needed to go and seek employment with. So when God was working on me all the while, and through that whole entire process, I fell in love with helping people out in their career journey as well. Because God gave it to me, I now can give it back to his people, right? So in that moment in my whole entire career tragedy, you know, that was like a pivotal point in my career journey, because it showed me the importance of using the number one tool in regaining authority in your career, which is your voice. Your voice. I mean, it seems so simple to use your voice, but a lot of us can't even truly articulate our thoughts or our value add when it comes to these interviews, when it even comes to talking to individuals that we want to express what we have going on in our business, right? So as I evolved in my career journey and in corporate America and in the government, I learned that using your voice will allow you to reclaim your sanity and authority in your career journey, and ultimately those birthrights of happiness, joy, and peace I was just talking about. And it will not be sacrificed if you do what? Just use your voice. And using your voice, it sounds super simple, but something so simple needs to require a strategy to use your voice. So I'm going to give you a couple of things, like if you don't use your voice, when you're using your voice, the strategy that you need to incorporate is this. Bear with me, I have notes. I want to keep on task. You must understand what you desire out of your career journey. So that's what you're going to first do. Understand what you desire out of your career journey. Only you know what you want out of your career journey. So when you truly look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself these three things, what do I want out of my career journey? What is it that I can tolerate and not tolerate? And what makes me happy on a day-to-day basis? And truly answer those questions truthfully, right? You will be able to authentically use your voice, speak up in your career journey, and ultimately control the narrative that you want to be portrayed and conveyed to the employers, to people in general, right? And this strategy, honestly, guys, this strategy has worked so many wonders for me in my career journey. And I was able to elevate in ways that I never knew that I could elevate. I was able to be in rooms where I never thought I could be in. And then be in rooms or be in the mouths of people that I never thought would even think about my name, even know who I was. But the fact and the power behind using your voice to control your narrative and where you're trying to go is powerful. So bottom line, y'all, life's too short. If you're unhappy and you're sacrificing all that, sacrificing those birthrights I was telling you about, definitely speak up. Be present for who you are and what you want in your life, period. So let me, before I leave this virtual stage, I want to share with you a good trick to track your happiness within your career journey. Simply look yourself in the mirror and say, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. So if you did not clap your hands regarding, whether or not you were happy in your career journey, y'all, definitely connect with me because this is my God-given assignment. And when you connect with me, let me tell you, it's just God speaking through me to speak through you, point blank, period. And I just want to be obedient. So you guys, definitely, I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you again, Nicki, for inviting me to share this inspirational and empowering message with your audience.
Thank you so much for coming on here, coming through with the vocals. I hear you, vocals.
Look, I be trying. Look, I be using all gifts. That should go unnoticed.
Multi-talented up in here, okay?
Yes, but I do want to share a few of how you can follow me before we end. Mm-hmm. So, I'm having two events. I have an event entitled the Bold Emergence Power Hour, and that is March 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern. This is for people who are currently facing fear, procrastination, or just straight unbelief in themselves as it relates to being bold and doing what you were called to do. So that, and then also at that event, I'll be revealing, I have a book coming out, and it's a poetry book. So I'm definitely excited to be amongst a lot of great poets on this panel. So I'm excited to connect with you guys and be one of the authors like you guys. But another event I'm having is I Am a Masterpiece Virtual Paint and Sip. That's March 31st. Definitely just DM me at the U Brand Academy on IG. And on Facebook, it's at the U Brand Academy. And I'll send you all the links that you need in order to get involved. Also, as you know, I was talking about God calling me. I'm not just any career coach. I'm a Christian career coach. So I hold prayer calls weekly. They are on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So definitely join in with that. Best way to find out about the information. I'll post the information in the notes here so people can see.
Yes, most definitely.
Yes, well, thank you, Nicki.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming through and dropping your wisdom. And guys, feel free. Definitely connect with her and all our historians that were on here tonight, because everyone was dope. Everyone was so amazing. And they have so they're doing great stuff in the community. So you definitely want to follow them. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sitting over here. I'm so emotional, honestly. I'm trying not to cry, for real, if I'm telling you the truth, because this event is like, it went so much better than I could imagine. Everyone who spoke, they were just dropping bullets. They were low-key speaking into my life without even knowing it. And it's crazy because you put stuff together and you never know the outcome. Like, and you never know the impact that you're having on someone's life. And to all these ladies that speak so positively about me, just thank you guys so much. Thank you to everyone who has been watching, everyone who's going to catch the replay, everyone who has been supporting Nicki D the brand, Nicki D the poet, Shy Girl Speaks, joining the Shy Girl gang, and even graphics by Nicki D. I thank you all for your support. And like I mentioned before, I do have a book that is dropping next month. Crown. Let me just go ahead and play the little book trailer for you guys to see what it is about. So that's my new book called Crown, which is all about purpose, which is was one of the reasons why I wanted to put on this event in the first place, because we so far often during Black History Month, during Women History Month, we're so quick to praise the celebrities, but we're not. We have historians right here in our backyard. We have people in our life that are out here in the community that are putting these works that we need to get behind, that are on the ground working. And I just wanted to really create a platform to acknowledge the people who are in the community putting this work out, or just filling the airways with positive messages instead of all his negativity. And if you want to know my story, let me just tell you a little bit about me and my story before I close up. I'm nothing but a former shy girl from Philly who found her voice through poetry. And like I said before, I've been writing poetry since the age of 10, and I always used poetry as an outlet, but it wasn't until 2 years ago that I really started sharing my poetry. I was always hesitant because I knew that I had a gift for writing. I knew that it was something there, but I thought that writing was just for me. And sometimes we go through stuff and we think it's for us when really it's not really for us. It can be for someone else. So me writing my experiences, me writing helping me go through, I realized that my poetry, if I just kept it to myself, if I died, that would die with me. But if I started to share, I decided to share out into the world, because I realized there's other shy girls in the corner right now that feels the same way that I felt, that need help finding their voice. Thank God I was able to use an outlet such as poetry to help me find my voice. But there's other people that are still stuck in that corner, and like, what good is me being out here being on hill if I see my brother or my sister struggling? So me sharing my poetry is to help other people find their voice, to help other people who feel as though they're not enough, let them know that they are enough, let them know that their voice matters. And the number one thing, if you listen to a lot of my lives, or if you read none of my book, any of my books, it would be to focus on your why, because this journey to being an entrepreneur, I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. This journey to be an artist is tough. Even being an author, putting yourself out there is tough, and a lot of people can get lost in the applause. You can get lost in the views. You can get lost in the likes. When in actuality, they can come and they can go, but your why will be there forever. So I just want to close out with this piece. If you know me, you know I love blending into the crowds. Shadow child. Never doing anything too risky or too wild. I was the type that always colored inside the lines. You know I love to play it safe. But deep down inside, there was always this part of me that was trying to escape. But I tried to bury her. Under religious expectations, I tried to bury her. Under societal obligations, I tried to bury her because I was afraid that the world wasn't ready to see what was deep down inside of me. I had to keep this beast under lock and key. Little did I know that a pen was a key. With each stroke of the pen, each drop of ink, she came seeping out. A pen was a key that unlocked the gate that let this beast out, and out she came. With so much power and authority, she could not be contained. And little did I know that Nicki D would be her name, and she was a poet. The world would be forever changed by her pen. She was a poet because she discovered her voice and the message deep down within. She was a poet, far more complex than the roses being red and the violets being blue. For what is a poet? It don't challenge the inner demon in you. What is a poem? And you hear it and remain the same. And what was the point of you tuning into this live on today if your world isn't forever changed? Thank you guys so much. And I grew up in a church background, and typically I don't do this, but something is really leading me to pray. So I'm just gonna close this whole workshop out with a prayer, if you guys don't mind. Dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you. I thank you for all the ladies that spoke on this panel today. God, I thank you for touching their lives. I thank you for allowing them to find purpose behind their pain. I thank you for allowing them to find purpose behind their trauma. God, anybody under the sound of my voice, any woman, God, let them know that they are enough, God, and then of their situation that they are enough, that inside of them you have instilled in them everything that they need in order to succeed in this world, God, everything they need in order to make a difference. Let them know that they matter, their voice matter, their lives matter, God, that their mission matter, God. God, let them know that you're there the step of the way, that God, let them know that you have ordered their step, God. Let them know that everything they touch is blessed, God. Let them know that it's their winning season every season, even though it doesn't look out, because the word lets me know that for all things work together to the good of them that love the Lord, the good of them that is called according to their mission, their purpose, God. Let them know that there's purpose behind everything, God. Thank you, God, for allowing this beautiful event to go on, God. And please help me to do what you allow me to do in your name. Amen. Thank you, God. And thank you, guys.